It's cold.
It's not that cold.
Cold everywhere.
Oh, you should have been here last week. Oh my God. That was when we were still in the 20 below weather talking about the nut job.
Jesus. I'm really glad I didn't decide to just like, it's like, no, honey, it'd probably do me good to get out of the house.
Let's go see I Frankenstein.
That's what would get you out is the nut job.
There were a lot of
Gotta get my nut.
Yeah. I gotta get this January, get your nut on. Now that I've described to you what the nut job was like, how was Ride Along?
It wasn't that bad. I mean, really.
Yeah.
I know you told me earlier tonight that it had a pretty low rating on
It's got like a 17, but it's, I mean, not that this means anything, but I mean, it's been doing crazy well. It was the top movie for a couple of weeks, and honestly, some people I know who saw it didn't really think it was that bad. I mean, not like 17% fucking bad.
Oh, no. Believe me, last year you sent me to enough fucking 17% movies.
It's at the same percentage that Lone Ranger was in. That's the thing I can think of that had a 17% on Rotten Tomatoes. Better or worse than the Lone Ranger?
Oh, it's better than the Lone Ranger. It's half the length. But no, I mean, it's a comedy that tries to be a cop movie.
Yeah.
But it sticks to like the tried and true method cop stuff. Like,
is it the blue streak of its time?
It's better than Blue Streak.
Who ordered the pizzas?
Yeah, But no, it's I really wish I'd ever seen the movie Cop Out, because that's immediately what I thought of when I first saw this. I'm like, did I already see it? No, that was Bruce Willis.
It's a little too soon for a remake of Cop Out.
But no, it's a serviceable movie. Like if you're going to see it because you like comedies, you'll like it. If you're going to see it because you like buddy cop films, you'll probably not enjoy yourself as much.
How come? Like in terms of like it being like a buddy cop movie?
Well, the main thing of the movie is it basically revolves around Kevin Hart is trying to he wants to actually get engaged to his girlfriend, and she knows this. Like, they openly talk about getting married, but she refuses to actually do that until he can get her brother's blessing.
And that's Ice Cube.
And yeah, and it's not really established until like, I don't know, an hour and 15 minutes into this movie that, by the way, they were orphans, so they don't have any other family.
Oh, okay. Ice Cube and his sister?
Yeah, they were in like the foster system.
All right.
It doesn't touch on that until like fucking forever into the movie, where, you know, it kind of reaches a moment where Ice Cube finally has to, you know, just really open up and talk to Kevin Hart, you know. It's like, man, like, it wasn't easy always for me, you know, like, all this shit happened. Me and her being in the foster system and not having parents is like, this is all sudden.
Is that even pertinent to anything that's going on in the movie at all, or just kind of?
Not really. I mean, Ice Cube's character is like, oh, you're a loose cannon and you don't have a partner because no one trusts you and you don't want to work with anybody and you don't let anybody in. Callahan. I mean,
is he pretty good in it?
I mean, he does all right. it's nice seeing him not playing just like either a typical like street thug or like just like the overprotective dad type character from like show like stuff like Are We There Yet?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
you know, stuff like that. But but like the whole time, like you really just get to like, and they reference it several times during the movie, but like he's really trying his hardest to kind of like put on like this Denzel in Training Day, like.
I was just gonna say, how awesome would it have, I don't, of course I haven't asked this, so maybe this is how it ends. How awesome would it have been if in the last 15 minutes, it's the last 15 minutes of Training Day. This whole thing was to make poor Kevin Hart the scapegoat of some crime he's pulling off, and he wants his ass dead.
That would have been a wild twist that I would not have seen coming. They,
like he gets fucking Cliff Curtis to blow his head off in the fucking shower.
It's this close. No, no, it's a pretty by the numbers cop movie. Is the problem?
Is there a villain?
There is. Apparently. Ice Cube and his like team, which is him, John Leguizamo, and I never remember his name. He was on Mad TV, the Pool Boy.
Oh, Brian Callen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like his team, and they've been spending like the past 3 years trying to track down this villainous, you know, kingpin of crime down in Atlanta named Omar.
Yeah.
Except the problem is that no one knows what Omar looks like. He's killed everyone who's ever seen his face. Fuck, so many people trust him. But yeah, it's this big thing, like, these three are devoted to, like, tracking this case, even when they're not supposed to be doing stuff on this case.
Yeah.
And, their lieutenant, who's always yelling and jumping up his ass.
Sweet Slater! Is it him?
No.
Is it Frank McRae?
No, it was, Bruce McGill.
Oh, right on. Cool.
Well, black cop, so you gotta have a white lieutenant.
So we gotta have white Frank McRae. Well, that's all right. If Bruce McGill wasn't playing the lieutenant, he'd be playing the bad guy. Or is that the twist?
No. But no, it's the thing, like, their lieutenant doesn't even believe that this Omar is a person because there's zero evidence that he even exists.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, oh yeah, we work for Omar, you know, like, you know, the chief's like, he's a fucking ghost. It doesn't exist. There's no real person. Everybody just blames it on Omar.
Isn't that the plot for the villain, the Iceman, in Another 48 Hours?
Fuck, I haven't seen Another 48 Hours since I was like 12.
Remember how, like, the bad guy that they were looking for was the Iceman, and throughout the movie they're looking for him, but no one has seen what he looks like, and then at the end, it turned out that the Iceman was the Brian James character who was his cop buddy from the first movie, and then was his cop buddy in the second one, and he turned out to be the bad guy in Another 48. How the fuck do I remember so much about Another 48 Hours?
But blowing my mind on this one.
Hey, because Andrew Devoff was the biker villain, who was James Remar's brother in the first movie, and he was going after him for revenge, and then the cop buddy turned out to be the Iceman.
I think I just need to watch another 48 Hours again.
It's been a while since I've seen that. I don't remember that movie being that bad.
But yeah, so he's this faceless villain that no one believes exists except for Ice Cube.
Yeah.
And Kevin Hart, he's like a security guard, like really into like some like Call of Duty looking games, you know, shit like that. Except they don't even try to make the game that he's playing look like it's from like the past 15 years. Like,
Okay.
Like it's like a fucking like Sega CD looking game.
Sweet.
It's like I see he keeps picking up an Xbox controller. But I don't know what the fuck
That's because he bought the Sega Classics for $15 at his local disc replay.
Obviously. They didn't even try to make it look like it was something current. But yeah, he's really like hung up on video game stuff.
Yeah.
And he wants to become a cop. So to kind of like he just like at the beginning of the movie he gets accepted to like the police academy. And so
Kevin Hart does?
Yeah. Sorry, getting over a cold.
Everyone's got it. Jake was supposed to be here, but like 2 hours ago was like, man, I'm really not feeling it.
Turns out he'd rather stay home and shit himself crazy.
Then go see Ride Along or the after that awkward moment, where the fuck movie it was I just sat through.
Yeah, so Ice Cube decides to take Kevin Hart on a ride-along as a way to kind of see if he's a good fit for his sister, which he already hates him, and see if he's cut out to be a cop, which he's trying his hardest to convince him to not be a cop. And so, like, he, like, gets a bunch of his cop friends to, like, set up, so, like, they keep getting, like, responding to, like, calls that are just weird shit, like, no actual crimes or anything like that, just, like, weird shit. Like, they get a call to, like, chase some, like, Aryan-looking, like, bikers out from in front of, like, this pub that they're parked at because they're parked in, like, a handicap spot.
Yeah. And
so it's, you know, 5 foot nothing Kevin Hart like yelling at like 50 Aryan brothers. It's like shit like that is like the calls they keep going out to.
Or like I saw there's a part in the trailer where like he accidentally shoots a guy or something like that. Like they're in a store and
it's a little bit later on. Like he's trying to follow Ice Cube's lead and being tough and everything, and he just keeps poking this guy with a gun until he accidentally shoots him.
Yeah, that's right. He shot your ass.
This is a nice little moment where like they look at each other like, oh, like, yeah.
That part did make me laugh in the trailer because Ice Cube does play a good badass.
and he's convincing. Like honestly, like the parts where it's those two just hanging out doing like cop stuff. Well, not even doing cop stuff, but just doing stuff, are really enjoyable. Like they have a really good chemistry. You know, they have some really good moments because Ice Cube is just turning the whole movie to just be like this like cut out of stone like badass type character. Even when you can tell like he's obviously trying to be as much that way as he can just to piss off and frustrate Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
And then Kevin Hart's just being himself. I mean, like he has no idea what the fuck he's doing, but like it's weird. He's like some bizarre like gun savant in the movie.
Kevin Hart is?
Yeah.
I know there's the part in the trailer where he tries shooting his shotgun and he...
Oh no, he's terrible with weaponry. But from playing countless hours of like, you know, like Call of Duty and like, you know, shit like that. You know, like they keep getting in like these firefights and Ice Cube's like, come on man, we need to run this way. And he's like, no, they got like 2-3 AK-47s over there, like this kind of shotgun, like there's one guy with like this kind of like listing off like what kind of things he can hear based off of like the muzzle reports. It's like, this is bizarre.
Yeah.
like in these firefight situations, like he turns out to be very handy.
Nice.
But yeah, it's just they kind of keep putting him on like sending him out to all these like shit calls just to frustrate him, to make him not want to do it. And like they report to one crime in progress where like there's this guy like having a meltdown in like a supermarket and he's just throwing stuff, and you know, Ice Cube's telling him like, don't embarrass me, man, go over there, you know, arrest this guy. And as he's trying to arrest him, the guy like starts getting naked and just pouring honey on himself.
Yeah.
Starts like wrestling him. And you know, Ice Cube has to come in and like, you know, like get the guy off of him. And you know, it's like wounds his pride, and he's all like butthurt about it. So they go back to the precinct so you know, they can file the paperwork for it, and they find out like, oops, turns out that guy was one of their friends, Crazy Carl or whatever the fuck his name was.
Yeah.
That they just asked him to go down there and have a little meltdown, and then just dropped all charges, you know, to let him off. And like they're like poker buddies or something like that.
Okay.
Like, it's like, thanks for doing me this solid to like annoy this little guy. So
I remember when James Woods did that to Michael J. Fox in The Hard Way.
So Kevin Hart kind of like eavesdrops in on that conversation and decides like, oh fuck this, no, now I'm really gonna push this, and like, you know,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, he's not getting rid of me. And then they actually start like finding out like clues and evidence that leads them into like this big like not drug deal, like gun, like military weapons deal
Yeah.
thing that involves this Omar guy. And it's like I say, like the parts where it's them doing stuff aren't too bad, but then when it like knuckles down and tries to do like the cop stuff,
Yeah.
it is just so by the book that it's almost boring. Like if you had to like guess like each line of dialogue that would come next,
Yeah.
you probably could. I mean, it's just that. It's like, oh, you in my office. What now, Lieutenant? I got all this stuff. I asked you to do a simple thing. Your car chases and things blowing up. You're shooting people. It's like, what was I supposed to do? Let the criminal get away? It's like, I didn't ask for your sass talk. You're the best damn cop I got.
But damn, you're a pain in the ass.
I mean, it's such
Fucking paperwork.
cookie cutter dialogue when it goes to parts like that. That honestly, like the scenes that don't have Kevin Hart in it feel really flat because it's so bland.
I was just gonna ask how Kevin Hart is in the movie, because he's certainly riding a pretty big career high right now.
Yeah, shit. I think we got trailers for 3 other movies he's in.
We did
during,
Yeah.
you know, while we were waiting for this one to start.
Yeah. About Last Night. There was a couple others.
But no, I mean he did really good. Like his part, like I mean he's in really good shape. Like dude takes care of himself. But
Yeah.
like a lot of the stuff that he does is like sight gag stuff. You know, like somebody throws a punch, he's like, "Ee!" and like jumps out of the way,
Yeah.
and just like lays on the ground, like, twist my ankle, like shit like that. But which makes it really funny because he's really in shape.
I was just gonna say, like, he's probably in better shape than Ice Cube is.
Yeah.
The trailer for I actually was thinking the same thing, because the trailer for About Last Night has him shirtless in some
he's
bar.
Stacked as shit.
Yeah.
Like a dude punches him, like, and just falls down.
Yeah. A shotgun sends him flying 50 feet.
And then you see like Ice Cube over there, like picking guys up and just throwing them. Like, this took a twist.
So Kevin Hart, another actor who would have been a much more convincing Alex Cross.
Well, I think the problem with that still would have come in though. It's like
Matthew Fox could still kill him.
yeah. He's so short. And they keep it like it's addressed several times in the movie. I mean, it's kind of one of his things, I know, but like it comes up several times. Like
Yeah, even in the trailer, they did like
him getting like heckled by like some little kid.
Yeah, the little kid and him like what are they in a strip club and the hooker's like twice as tall as he is or the stripper is.
They report to another like one of those what they think is another fake call.
Yeah.
But it turns out to actually be like a serious thing. Like it ends up in like this big like Mexican standoff.
Nice.
But he thinks that it's all fake, so he's going around like acting all fucking like Mel Gibson.
Mm-hmm.
Like grabbing like the dude's gun and like putting it up against his head. It's like the only thing I'm crazy. The only thing that can kill crazy is a bullet. You got a bullet? You got that bullet?
Does he find out that the whole thing was real? Like,
yeah, it escalates pretty fucking quick. But
this movie doesn't sound. I don't like. It's got a 17 on Rotten Tomatoes. It doesn't sound that bad from what you're saying.
Yeah, it's honestly
I kind of want to see this.
It's not too bad, really. Several things in it though are like so wildly convenient. Like there's, and it was telegraphed from a mile away. Like I was about to lean over to Letty and be like, "Oh shit, I think they're in on it." Whenever they're like, "Turns out we're in on it." I'm like, "Oh, thanks for beating me to the punch."
Good one, movie.
But yeah, we're like halfway through, like they get this, they get a tip that there's going to be like this big deal going on in this warehouse. So Ice Cube calls up his partners and they meet him there. Mm-hmm. Like they're already there. Like they were just around the corner. Like that's okay. Just around the corner from the abandoned warehouse district.
Nice. That's where all the great cop movies take place. Exactly. That's where half of K9 was filmed.
So they show up on like the set of like the end of RoboCop.
Mm-hmm. Sweet.
And like they're there like, "Hey, we already got here. Looks like things are going down inside. We should go on in." Mm-hmm. And Ice Cube's like, "Okay," and walks through the door, and then he was like gun to the back of his head. I'm like, "Okay, so." It's like, "Yeah, it turns out we work for Omar. Sorry."
Who plays Omar?
Lawrence Fishburne.
Really? Is that like a surprise when he pops up? Is that like towards the end, and that's like a reveal or something?
It's like kind of halfway through. It's like it's kind of when this like warehouse scene is going on because Cube gets like tied up and like they're basically like, "Oh yeah, now we're gonna make a weapons deal in front of you, and then we're gonna kill you." Yeah. And Kevin Hart was supposed to stay away from the warehouse because there's real cop stuff going on, but apparently he got bored and just wandered over there and sees all this going down. So he just goes in there and starts like pretending he's Omar because no one knows what the fuck he looks like. Mm-hmm. Apparently no one's also either talked to him or heard his voice or anything. Yeah. Because, yeah, he's not exactly talking like a mastermind criminal. Yeah. But he goes in there and he puts on a really convincing performance for all these people. Like, everybody's fucking buying it. Like one dude kind of, like, starts making a crack. Like, "Wait a minute. I thought Omar was 6'4". It's like, "Oh, bam!" And just shoots him in the fucking... just shoots this guy in the leg. Dude's laying on the ground like, "Hey, you want to tell me how tall I am again?" Like, okay, that was a good scene.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
And like everybody's looking around, like, well, why? I mean, why would he just come down here now? No one's ever seen him personally and lived. Yeah, like they were in a room with like 50 fucking guys in it. It's like, why would he suddenly show up? And like this is gonna get a little okay. Whatever. And then out of nowhere, just Lawrence Fishburne walks in and is like, "Well, there's a problem with all of this. I'm Omar." It's like, ta-da! There's your big reveal, I guess.
How far into the movie does that happen when he shows up?
It's probably halfway, just a little past the halfway.
Oh, okay.
Point. So, yeah, I mean, it's not really like it's... excuse me. It's not really like it's it's not like it's like a huge reveal. Like it's like you see Lawrence Fishburne walk up and it's like, "Oh, I guess he's Omar. And then literally about the first thing he says is, "I'm Omar."
Yeah.
It's like, the mystery revealed.
Sri leaned over to Lenny go, I think he's Omar.
And, you know, it's from there on, it's like, he tries asking Ice Cube, like, you know, like, hey, just become a dirty cop. I will set you up for life. No, but seriously, I will set you up for life. Just fucking do it.
Yeah.
He's, you know, like, hell no, man. And, seriously, half of his lines in the movie are, hell no. And, dang. Half his fucking dialogue. Confused look. Oh, hell no.
Oh, hell no.
It's just, it's very much like, at a point, it's just like this is a drinking game.
Uh-huh.
It's like, he honestly doesn't believe anything he sees.
No, he's just got the same screenwriter as iRobot. Right? Will Smith's dialogue, they've given it all to... Actually, that even... Because we mentioned this in the lobby earlier. Did this seem at all like there's probably an R-rated version of this movie that exists, or not?
I honestly don't think so. I mean, if there is, it's just... If there's an unrated cut that comes out, it'll probably just have, like, extended, like, parts with Kevin Hart just going off doing, like, his normal, like, you know, kind of stand-up dialogue.
It seemed weird to me when I saw that this was a PG-13. Given the cast, given the synopsis, like, this easily... I mean, if it works as a PG-13 movie, fine, you know, fine, if it works, but, like, every piece of advertising I saw for it before the TV trailers seemed to come across like this might be like a hard R comedy. Hell, didn't you say you didn't even know it was?
I assumed that it was. I just figured it was.
Yeah. Because I mentioned that to you, and I think you in the lobby you still thought it was an R. Which, if I hadn't have seen any TV trailers for it, I would have thought it was an R too.
Yeah, I mean and there very well could be, but it's nothing really came across like it was missing or cut out or anything.
Right on.
It might just be like alternate, like maybe they have alternate takes where they did it, you know, like that, or like I say, just extended parts of scenes where they kind of just have more like vamping dialogue. But I mean, by and large, yeah, it seemed like they intended to make a PG-13 movie. Because like when people even get shot in this, it's just kind of... It happens, like that scene you mentioned that's in the trailer where he shoots the guy while he's like asking him a question.
Yeah.
The guy like freaks out. Is like, you know, like he's crying. He's like, "Ah, motherfucker shot me!" But like he's just got like there's a little hole in his shirt and it's damp like this big around it, and it doesn't even look red like blood. It's just like it looks wet.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Dude's full of water. Or not really, because it's just like that one little spot, and that's it.
Green Band trailer blood, where it looks like bubbling crude pouring out of people.
So as much as you want, as long as it's not red.
Yeah.
That's a weird rule.
Great. They're just full of hot oil. Perfect. You get your G-rated trailer.
But there's a scene, too, where after this like big firefight in this warehouse, Ice Cube and Kevin Hart are kind of on the lam because their crooked cop partner called in to the station before Ice Cube could.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, we went there to stop this thing, and then Ice Cube went crazy. He works for Omar. And the lieutenant just immediately is like, oh, okay. I always knew he was an asshole. And like apparently just like believes them immediately that was the case.
I fucking knew it.
But yeah, while they're on the lam, like they find out because Kevin Hart's like, oh yeah, hold on, I gotta like adjust my sock. It's wet.
Mm-hmm.
He looks down like, oh, there's blood on his shoe, and like he rolls up his pant leg, and there's like some blood smeared on his leg, and then there's like a bullet wound that is just fine. Like, it's not bleeding at all.
It's a very hot bullet. It sealed the wound on the way in.
But then by the time like Ice Cube freaks out, like, oh man, we got to get a tourniquet on that. I'm like, well, it's not bleeding.
Yeah, it seems to be just fine.
It's like, I think the worst is over.
But just keep off the foot for a couple of days. Might leave a little bit of a scar. He'll be fine.
Yeah, but then by the time that they get to like the hospital, like they've got just like a bunch of towels sitting on top of it so you can't see it, and the towels are just soaked red. It's like, that really came on once they got in here.
The hospital's the last place they should have gone. It was doing fine when they just shot him earlier.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know, it's pretty generic. Like, it basically kind of ends like after the whole shootout at that warehouse, everything's gone to shit. So Leguizamo, Callan, and Lawrence Fishburne decide to just go and kidnap or like hold for ransom Ice Cube's sister, Kevin Hart's girlfriend, and so they just go there and beat them up.
So I'm sure it ends like they get married at the end. He wins the approval of her brother.
Yeah, it kind of like they're having like this fight there in their apartment, and Lawrence Fishburne lets the other two get the shit kicked out of him, like kidnaps the sister and like trying to make his getaway.
Yeah.
And Ice Cube, like, he can't get this because he's holding her up there. He's threatening to kill her. So Kevin Hart like climbs up on top of like another car and like jumps over it and like kicks Lawrence Fishburne in the head. And he kind of staggers back, and then Ice Cube just starts shooting the hell out of him. It doesn't kill him, though. Shoots him like 3-4 times at least in the chest.
The PG-13 chest, though. That misses all the vital organs.
All around the sides here. But then it has like the strangest little moment. Like, it kind of, does like the little cut to like 5 minutes later, and there's cops all over the place and a couple of ambulances and everything. And, Ice Cube's like, yeah, I mean, I guess he didn't do too bad. I mean, I guess. It's like, oh shit, that's his blessing. He approved of me now. And that's the okay to get married. Like, the whole time, like, Ice Cube is like staring down this ambulance that they're loading Lawrence Fishburne in. And even like once like kind of steps over to it, like says something to him, like, it's like, I was never going to join you, right? Because he kind of bluffs him for a minute. He's like, ha ha ha, I know, ha 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 ha, as they like push him into the thing. It's like I'm waiting for him to say like, oh, and by the way, I'm not fucking Omar. Or like something like that. Like, it was like this oddly tense moment. Like, it seemed like there was supposed to be like a last minute twist, or like, they'd load up the ambulance and it'll drive away, and then, another cop will be like, hey, how long till the actual ambulances get here?
Yeah.
Oh no! Fucking Kaiser Soze ate us.
To be continued.
Like, I was waiting for some like big like Usual Suspect style twist at the end like that. And no, it was just apparently Ice Cube just staring at this thing like something like that was about to happen. Like, I think he thought it was gonna happen too. Because, it was just so odd. And Letty had the exact same feeling, like something was supposed to happen and it just didn't.
It just never did.
Ice didn't get the last few pages of the script, so he didn't know where it was all going either.
Until then, he thought he was actually Omar.
And he was the best. That's why he's so tense in the whole movie. He thought he was the villain. Do you recommend it? Do you recommend it at all?
I don't know if I full price recommend it. I mean, if you're a Kevin Hart fan, I fucking go to it. I mean, it's a fun enough movie, especially like Kevin Hart has a lot of good stuff in it. It's honestly, it's even one like, if his usual stand-up's a little like too explicit for you, you'll be fine with this. Or like if you want to take like honestly like, you know, like I wouldn't say like younger kids, but like, you know, if you got like teenagers around the house or something like that, fuck, they'll be fine at this. You know, if you got a problem with like how, you know, vocal some of his stuff is, like, but yeah, it's a pretty harmless movie. It's that never sounds like a good thing to say. Like, it's like, oh yeah, that movie was perfectly harmless.
No, I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
But yeah, I mean, it's a good comedy that's definitely it's all ages, but it's not dumbed down so much that like adults won't enjoy it. Like, you don't even really notice that they're not saying like, you know, fuck and shit and stuff like that all the time. Like, you expect it, but once it starts going, like, you don't really notice it. But yeah, it's just the cop parts are just so bland and so dry, and it's just nothing that you haven't seen 1,000 times before.
Well, it sounds like it's probably your best bet to go see something in January.
Yeah, shit. If you're looking for a January movie, go see Ride Along.
Real quick, because I got to tell you about a running gag in our movie.
Oh, goody.
It made me think of it when you mentioned just Lawrence Fishburne popping up in this.
Says, hi, I'm Omar.
Our movie has a part where, because Michael B. Jordan, he walks towards the beginning of the movie, he walks in and his wife is there with like a lawyer in their house who she's sleeping with. And it's Morris Chestnut. It's Morris Chestnut as a guy who looks like Morris Chestnut. I'm not joking. He's not playing himself. But when the next scene, when they're sitting around talking to each other, like the three guys in the movie, Zac Efron, the other dude, and Michael B. Jordan, they're talking about, oh man, and he looked just like Morris Chestnut. It was weird. That's an ongoing... That's the only scene Morris Chestnut's in, but dear God, is he name dropped through the rest of the goddamn movie.
He's there in spirit after that.
Like, Carrie was sitting there wondering why I kept going, Jesus Christ! I had to lean over and go, it actually was Morris Chestnut at the beginning of the goddamn movie.
Like in fucking Ocean's 12 when they're like, you know what? You know who you look exactly like?
Fuck that.
Now that you mention it, she does. I always thought that.
Fuck that shit. Fuck what... That awkward moment was better than that. Oh my God, it's Julia Roberts. And Bruce Willis, what are you doing here?
Just collecting a paycheck. Here it is. Goodbye.
All right. Anything else?
I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think if we got any trailers that were any different than anything we've seen so far.
No.
All of ours were the same, except for...
Had a much longer trailer for Haunted House 2.
Oh, we got that. Is that the trailer that shows him fighting a chicken?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got that
Live action Family Guy.
Yeah. He's just recreating this fucking scene from Scary Movie 2, except it's a chicken instead of a cat, and it's like fucking Family Guy. But
it looks like the main thing that it's spoofing is The Conjuring.
Yeah? I like how 3/4 of that trailer are made up of the scene of them moving into the house. Did you notice that? Like,
yeah.
like what's the rest of this movie about? It seems to be showing us the first 10 minutes.
Oh, maybe it'll be like the first one will only be 80 minutes long anyway. If they showed anything else, you'd literally see half the film.
Yeah.
Now there was some trailer we got that we were like, why the hell is this before this movie?
X-Men.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
It was all the trailers that you would figure would be before this movie. Guess what kind of movies?
We got one that we got the typical ones I figured we would have gotten at that about last night. Whatever romance, Endless Love probably, but there was one that it made me laugh a few times. Did you guys get the trailer for the new Jason Bateman movie?
No.
That's like a hard R, and the name of the movie is Bad Words, because he cons himself into like a spelling bee competition with kids, but is like the most vulgar asshole in the fucking world. He's like fucking buying the kids hookers and shit throughout this movie.
What the fuck?
Well, all right, I can kind of go. Okay, I can kind of go. He's also the director. Jason Bateman's also the director of it. Honestly, the direction doesn't look that bad in the movie. I kind of laughed at this. I'm like, okay,
interesting.
that was the big red band trailer that we got.
Yeah, we just had like approved for all audiences.
That was most of ours were like that, but. That was the red band trailer we got for the Jason Bateman one. I can't remember. Probably that. I think we got that Draft Day movie with Kevin Costner. Whatever romance movies are coming out, those are the ones that we got.
Yeah, we mostly got like the ones that they're geared towards like black audiences.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, with the exception of X-Men and then that one about the Air Marshal with Liam Neeson.
Nonstop.
Yes.
I really want to see Nonstop.
I mean, that looks good.
Yeah. Liam Neeson on a plane? Fuck yeah.
The scratch off the original title, Passenger 58.
Oh man, Bruce Payne survived and he's back.
And I'm still like, I saw another trailer for that Need for Speed.
Oh.
And
is that based on the video game?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, it's based off a video game that has no actual story.
Yeah.
As far as I know, like I know that there's like a more recent one that Michael Bay directed a trailer for like 2-3 years ago, something like that.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if it has anything, because all the Need for Speed ones I always remember playing, like, you know, coming up. It was just like, here's a bunch of cars. Oh, now there's cops in the game, so you gotta outrun the cops.
Yeah.
Or you can play as the cops. You know, it's like stuff like that.
Yeah, like making a movie out of Town Madness.
Yeah. But,
how do you think that looks?
It looks like a combination of Gone in 60 Seconds and Cannonball Run and Vanishing Point.
Yeah, because it looks like Michael Keaton, and I don't know, it could be different when I see it. It looks like he's like the DJ from Vanishing Point.
Yeah, that's like the feel I got from it. Like this wise, all-knowing narrator who's completely detached from the story.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't dislike Aaron Paul. I don't know how much I can buy him as an action hero, at least judging from those trailers.
Well, I mean, it's one of those things, like, and maybe he's trying to, you know, like, do some different stuff. Like, I mean, I know that he's done plenty of different stuff, but I've never seen him as, like, an imposing guy.
That's my thing, too, because he is a solid actor. And maybe it's because I saw him on 5 seasons of Breaking Bad where he did nothing but blubber for 5 seasons, so I'm not that intimidated by him.
Yeah, I mean, if you see this and you're like, okay, that's very well and good, Jesse Pinkman.
Yeah.
And then you gotta run along. Go get Mr. White.
Yeah.
He'll tell you what to do next.
Kinda, yeah. Like, this was Jesse Pinkman's adventure before Walter White came into his life.
When I tell you to shoot someone, you shoot someone.
That would be a twist. That's how it ends. It all ties into Breaking Bad. We got 2 prequels, Need for Speed and Better Call Saul.
It's like, man, racing cars is really hard work. I think I'm just going to sell drugs instead.
Is there a fucking
Trades that Mustang for an RV.
Yeah, because is there a part in that trailer where, like, it's attached to, like, a fucking helicopter and shit?
I don't even know how that would work. Every time I see that is like the helicopter comes over the horizon and like they hook some straps underneath it through the car, and then they drive off a cliff and then it just hangs like that and carries away. I'm like, wouldn't that just like shave hood?
We're finally getting that new sequel to Triple X. Man.
Oh, did you hear that the speaking of Triple X, did you see that reveal thing that Vin Diesel put up for Riddick 4?
Is that the video of him dancing?
Yeah, it's like a 7-minute video of him dancing, and then like 5 minutes, and he's like, "By the way, I'm doing another Riddick movie." He just goes back to dancing.
I love it. That's great. The new Riddick movie was awesome. Did you ever see that?
I still haven't had a chance to.
It's fun. It's really fun. It's kind of like watching Predator if the Predator was the hero. It's not bad. It was a fun B movie. It was a fun B movie.
I can kind of get behind that. We've been trying to catch up on some stuff. Like the other day,
that one's worth it.
We tried actually finishing Your Next.
I already spoiled it for you when I sent you the picture of the killer.
Oh, I know. Like, we got to the part like, okay, here's right about when we left. And it's like, Slice is like, oh.
Fucking You're Next.
We watched about 5 more minutes past that, and we're like, we stopped it for some reason, and that was like a week ago.
Yeah.
So,
don't worry, it gets much better as it goes along.
So trying to rewatch it, we managed to get 5 minutes more into the movie.
You're not missing jack. That movie sucked. Fucking You're Next. Jesus Christ. Well, next week is the Lego Movie and Monuments Men, I think. And then after that, I think it's RoboCop. And it's RoboCop and that Vampire Academy. Oh, come on, they suck at school.
Ow. Suck it taglines.